GT Blankies proudly presents Musings with Steve and Teresa. They're here to enlighten, entertain, and inform about issues they think are important. They want people to think about how positive actions make positive people. Their show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video, and you can watch it as well as listen. Now on with the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to our Blog Talk Radio show. The show is captured and linked to YouTube, and the programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video. You can watch as well as listen. We refer to our efforts as Musings with Steve and Teresa, and this show is archived as such. And as you can see, I'm alone today, and it's because Steve is being a good big brother, and he's off helping his little sister take care of some medical things. So, I am here today to enlighten, entertain, and inform you about issues that we think are important. We want people to think how positive actions make positive people. And first today, I want to, like we call this series, the How Open Is Your Mind? And I came across something that was really pertinent to me, and I want to read it to you here. And I'll tell you who it's accredited to and who I originally heard it from. It says, do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it. Do not believe in anything simply because it is spoken and rumored by many. Do not believe in anything, anything simply because it is found in your religious books. Do not believe in anything merely on the authority of your teachers and elders. Do not believe in traditions because they have been handed down for many generations. But after observation and analysis, when you find that anything agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. Now, the paper I have here is attributed to Buddha. But actually, this is the way Steve has raised me, to keep an open mind, question everything. And that's how we've gotten here. But today I want to know, before we get really going, I want to show you my blankie here. I brought Orange Flame, because we were getting to fall, and I've already seen some leaves change this color. This morning I saw a big tree that looked just like this. And it's got a corresponding orange background on it. And that's one of my fall blankies. And I call it Orange Flame. And you can order it on Facebook or on our website. Or send me an email and we'll arrange it. So, but now let's start talking about some of this Schumann resonance now. I've been doing a tremendous amount of research for all of this stuff. And I'm being raised with an open mind and to question everything. I went right to, after learning about some of the other things that are involved in this, I said, well, okay, what's the science to back this up? So I began researching. And I did find that something I didn't know is that we are surrounded by electronic, everybody agrees that electric fields exist, and we're all electric energy or bioelectric fields, and energy counteracts with each other. So, but I didn't know that there's this, well, they decided to call it Schumann resonance because it's named after the man who discovered it. It's, they're attributing it to, as our planetary heartbeat, which it says sets the tempo for health and well-being. And what it is that between the Earth and the ionosphere way out in space, there's this big shell. And in this shell, electricity bounces around, and most of it's naturally occurring, and lightning causes it, and other things cause it, and but it sets the rhythm for the planet. These are frequencies of naturally occurring electromagnetic signals, which turns out that just about everything runs on. The clock of nature. It's just getting ahead of myself here. But anyway, they've discovered that these waves are extremely important to the health of not just us, but the planet. And it has a corresponding wave that's in the Earth. And between the two of them, they balance us out because these waves are very similar to our brainwave patterns. And they've come to discover out that changes that these waves probably help regulate our body's internal clocks. It affects sleep patterns and hormonal secretions. I can't talk today. But I found this absolutely amazing, and then I was reading something else that said that you need both these sets of waves to maintain, I guess you could call it your equilibrium. Some of it looks like some people can have extreme health damage from like a lack of one or the other signal. And in something, I don't have it here with me, I was reading that since the astronauts, they did an experiment and they put like some people down in a cave and locked them in there for a certain amount of time and then watched to see what happened to them. But apparently, if the human body is removed from the balance of these two waves, you get sick. You get headaches and other things happen to you. And they discovered that too with the astronauts when they went up over the ionosphere or up into space, they didn't get the bottom waves, so they got sick. So I was reading on something that so they have put in the space station and other things for long-term things, they have put synthetic resonators in the vehicles so that the people don't get sick. And I found this to be actually quite important because it appears that this human resonance and this other currents that help regulate us are changing. And why they're changing, they don't really quite know, but I think it ties into the ascension and the galactic alignment because the planet is doing something. And we're either along for the ride or we're going to get left behind. But they stutter and stammer sometimes. But they feel that these rhythms are very important for our health and survival. And the frequencies are changing. And when they get to a certain, the scale only goes like this much. And it's like here and it's going up here. And they're not sure what's going to happen. But they think that people are going to be affected, some more than others, and it's just amazing. I think that some of this stuff, since the waves have already been changing, that I think this might be attributed to some of the violence lately that we've seen in our society. People, you need to be aware of your thoughts and what your feelings are, and something's happening here. I found this other thing that was happening with the planet that kind of corresponds to this. Well, I mentioned the telluric current, and it's a corresponding electrical field that runs under the planet, and people have been using that to do all kinds of under the ground stuff, exploration using these electric fields. And good old Tesla, he even found a way to tap into them, and we need to explore this telluric current a little more. But here's something else that I found was quite interesting in the same kind of genre, is this, around the planet, this mysterious hum, or they're calling it the hum, has started to appear, or well, not appear, people hear it in certain areas of the country for the last, looks like about the last 6-7 years. This is what the essential elements that define the hum is what is perceived as a persistent low-frequency sound, often described as being comparable to that of a distant diesel engine idling or to some low-pitched sound for which the obvious sources have been ruled out. So people are hearing this hum, and it's running 24 hours a day, and it seems to be louder when they go inside. And they're not quite sure where this hum is coming from. But I think it's part of the planet realigning itself for this ascension thing. And there's so much more that it's just hard to go into all of it. But I wanted to touch on this human resonance here because I thought that was... Because you can measure some of this in yourself. The biofeedback, it's got the little frequency things. If you look at the pictures, I'm going to put all my research notes on. I'm going to put links to all my research on our Facebook page because there's just too much here to go into in 15 minutes and sound coherent. But they've done experiments with this human resonance, and they've mapped out the frequencies. You know, won't go into specifics because it is kind of dry, but they do correspond to our brain waves and some of the other electrical things that run in our body. And it's changing, so I feel that means that we're going to change with it. If the frequency of the planet, which is like, the vibrations and everything, and if you think about it, like when you look at a fan, the blades are off, and you can see them, each individual, but when you turn on the fan, it starts spinning around, and and it shoots out different waves, and that's kind of what the frequencies do. Everything vibrates at different frequencies or the same, and everything corresponds, and it all is a system. You can't interfere with one without damaging the other, and or improving the other. You go the other way too, because these increase in these frequencies and waves are also helping us increase our brain capacities and the way we can use our brains, especially if you become aware. And you start thinking, well, maybe this is why I'm feeling this, or, maybe because I'm sensitive to this change in these waves. And they said that many people could be affected and others not at all. So we're just going to have to wait and see, I think. And it's been shown that over science and everything, that there is a daily rhythm of the planet, a yearly rhythm. We have the moon's rotation is a certain amount of days, the Earth. I mean, there is natural order to the universe, and it seems to be that, like I said, something is changing. But there said is here in this, it says instabilities in certain rhythms can be correlated with tics, obsessive compulsive disorders, aggressive behavior, rage, don't know what that word is, panic attacks, bipolar disorders, migraines, narcolepsy, epilepsy, sleep apnea, vertigo, tinnitus, that's ringing in the ears. I heard somebody say that was your frequency changing. So, could be. We got anorexia, bulimia, suicidal ideation and behavior, all kinds of things here. And it says if you can control the mind patterns, you can enter different states. So, we're changing. Well, I think that's a good thing. Oh, I got a question for you. Do you think that men or women can feel the human resonance more? And that's a very good question, because again, I think it would depend upon how sensitive you are to your surroundings. Now, some people blunder through the world and never stop and smell the roses, and others are sensitive to everything. That's a really good question. And I kind of think because women do feel more, that they are probably more susceptible to the changes in this resonance. And I think it's an interesting subject that deserves more attention than it's getting. Well, with this 2012 thing, like I said, there are actual scientific facts that you can look up for yourself. The internet is just absolutely, it's a sitting library in your own living room to the world's knowledge. It's not hard to do a little research. Now, sometimes Steve and I go overboard on the research, but we want to get it straight. We both are dedicated to finding the information for ourselves. And we want to present it to you all so that you can make your own decisions. We're not advocating one thing over another, but there's something definitely going on, and you need to look into it. And we're going to help you look into that if you'll let us. And looks like we're getting to the end of another show here. I managed to talk for 15 minutes.
90 seconds.
Well, I wanted to say thank you for listening to my podcast today, and I hope I did us justice. I said this program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, and we're going to capture it and post it on Facebook and YouTube tomorrow. And comments are welcome, and we will return. Now, next week is Labor Day. We won't be on Labor Day weekend or the Tuesday. We're going camping. And
60 seconds.
We want you all to, I want to thank you all for listening. I'm Teresa. Oh, and I wanted to thank Magenta Pixie for that fabulous interview of a couple weeks ago, which started off the whole subject, actually, because She has a monumental amount of information, and I wanted to back it up with science, and it seems like I'm finding it. Well, thank you again for listening. We want you all to think positive, be positive, live positive, enjoy. I think you all should try to be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you for listening today. See ya!
Gigi Blankies, thank you for listening to the podcast today. This program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, captured and archived for YouTube video, and linked to Facebook as Musings with Steve and Teresa. Thank you for listening. Think positive, be positive, live positive, and enjoy.